It started with a hunch, a stretch of dry, forgotten land, nothing special to the untrained eye but Parker. Schnabel doesn't trust appearances, he never has, while others passed it by convinced it had nothing left to give. Parker stopped, questioned, dug, and what he found beneath the dust wasn't just gold, it was destiny. Dominion, the name alone, felt like a challenge this season. Wasn't just another chapter, it was a turning point. Parker Schnabel made a move so bold it could have wrecked everything he'd spent years building. When he set his sights on Dominion, it wasn't some impulsive purchase. It was a gut decision backed by instinct, experience, and a whole lot of risk. Buying that claim came with a price tag, heavy enough to make anyone hesitate. Millions of dollars, no guarantees, and a ticking clock on an already brutal season. Most miners would have walked away, play it safe, waited for better odds. Not Parker. He stared down the uncertainty, felt the weight of the pressure, and still charged forward. He didn't just dip a toe, and he dove head first into a gamble that could have shattered his entire operation. This wasn't just about keeping the crew paid or hitting a quota, it was about rewriting the rules, raising the bar, redefining what was possible in modern gold mining. It's a lot, and it's a lot for me to process. This is only the start of the battle for me, and you need me to win the battle as well. I need to be your biggest supporter here. I think you'll have a good time here. I think you'll do well. Parker wasn't digging just to survive, he was digging to be legendary. For years, the Klondike was home turf. It was the land that shaped him, tested him, and built the foundation of everything he's become. The terrain was harsh, the winters were punishing, the margins for error razor thin, yet Parker thrived there while others crumbled under the weight of broken machinery, tight deadlines, and cold that cut through bone. He found gold season after season, but the truth about mining is simple. No matter how rich the ground, it doesn't last forever. Parker saw it coming. Every load of dirt, hauled every ounce, pulled it all, chipped away at what was left. Mud Mountain, like it's supposed to be really good gold, but it is 50 feet deep, and some of it's 60 feet deep. And that's 40-50 grand a day just doing stripping. And the bills keep coming in, and right now we're only slicing at the airstrip. Slowly but surely, even the Klondike's legendary fields began to show signs of fatigue. And for a man like Parker, who doesn't wait for opportunity to knock, he builds new doors, it was a signal, a sign that it was time to evolve. He could have coasted, mined the leftovers, settled for decent returns and a comfortable pace. But comfort has never been his style, so he went searching not just for gold but for the next big frontier, something untouched, something overlooked, something with the potential to reshape his entire legacy. This all feels super weird. We've spent the last 5 years looking for a massive project, and we just got one. I should be stoked. He didn't want another season of good enough. He didn't want to maintain his place in the game. He wanted to change the game entirely, because when you've conquered the Klondike, the only thing left is to go beyond it. The numbers were nothing short of jaw-dropping. In just 1 week, Parker and his crew managed to extract 55 pounds and 55 of gold from Dominion. That isn't just a good haul, it's the kind of result miners dream of their entire lives. In fact, it wasn't just a success, it was a phenomenon, a gold rush within the gold rush, the kind of find that instantly changes the course of a season and possibly an entire career. But the story didn't end there. That 1-week explosion was just the beginning. As the season unfolded, Parker's operation continued to hit pay dirt at an astonishing rate. By the time the final gold was weighed, his crew had unearthed 7,381.1 ounces of gold, a haul valued at approximately $11.476 million. That's not hype, that's cold hard gold, pulled from the earth, one load of dirt at a time. And here's what's so shocking, this massive treasure came from land that others had sat there quietly, ignored, dismissed as spent or unworthy by previous miners who never bothered to look twice. So what happened? That's really nice. I really like this plant. Did they miss the signs? Did they not dig deep enough? Or was it something else entirely? Maybe they saw nothing but Parker. He saw everything. People watch Parker Schnabel pull in millions of dollars in gold and can't help but ask, how does he do it? What's the secret behind his seemingly unstoppable success, especially when so many others in the same industry struggle just to stay afloat? The answer isn't complicated. In fact, it's remarkably simple. Parker plays the long game, while others celebrate a big payday by splurging on flashy cars or taking extravagant vacations. Parker takes a different route. He doesn't chase luxury, he chases sustainability. Every dollar he earns is seen as fuel for something bigger, something that lasts. Instead of spending, he reinvests. Instead of relaxing, he refines as he pours his profits straight back into his operation, upgrading equipment, improving efficiency, and securing better claims. His focus isn't on showing off, it's on showing up season after season with smarter strategies and sharper tools. Where some miners chase gold for the thrill, Parker chases growth season after season. He crushed expectations, not just hitting production targets, but blowing past them. He turned modest claims into million-dollar gold sites. And he didn't do it through luck, he did it through relentless planning, laser-focused execution, and a refusal to accept anything less than excellence. He worked smarter, dug deeper, managed tighter. Every detail mattered. Parker wasn't handed greatness, he built it with grit, guts, and gold. Gold mining isn't for the weak, it's not glamorous, it's not easy, and it's definitely not forgiving. The physical and mental demands of this work are enough to crush most people long before they ever see a speck of gold. It's an industry built on grit, sacrifice, and sheer willpower. To put it into perspective, just 1 ounce of gold often requires moving enough earth to fill half of an Olympic-sized swimming pool. That's hundreds of tons of dirt day in and day out. And the costs, they're astronomical. Fuel alone can drain up to $2 million in a single season. That's not counting the cost of labor, equipment maintenance, weather delays, or the constant threat of machinery failure grinding everything to a halt. And yet Parker Schnabel never slows down. For him, this brutal pace isn't unusual, it's expected, it's standard. What most would consider an exhausting, backbreaking workload is just another day in Parker's world. While others collapse under the pressure or pull back when things get tough, Parker leans in. He keeps his foot on the gas, even when the road turns to mud and the skies threaten everything he's built. When the days stretch into nights and the crew feels like they've got nothing left to give, Parker is still out there, focused, relentless, and unshaken, because to him fatigue isn't a sign to stop, it's a sign that you're getting close. Gold doesn't care if you're tired. In Parker, he refuses to let it win. Raise the dam up and try to kind of reinforce things. I've done as best I can. These are definitely not headaches that we need, but hopefully, that's it. Behind every ounce of gold Parker Schnabel pulls from the earth lies a cost that can't be measured in dollars. Because for all his drive, success, and record-breaking hauls, Parker's greatest sacrifices haven't been financial, they've been personal. In Season 8 of Gold Rush, viewers got a glimpse into his relationship with Ashley Yule, the Australian veterinary nurse who stepped into his chaotic world of mining. She wasn't just a side character, she became a real part of his life. Both on and off the claim, supportive, grounded, and kind, Ashley brought a rare softness into Parker's otherwise relentless environment. But by Season 9 she was gone, and the reason wasn't scandal or conflict, it was work. Parker openly admitted that mining had taken over his life. Every waking hour was devoted to planning, digging, troubleshooting, and pushing forward. There was no room left for balance, no energy left at the end of the day for connection or companionship. His obsession with the job left Ashley on the sidelines of his own life, and he knew it. He didn't sugarcoat it, he said it straight. Ashley deserved better. It was a sobering realization, a moment where even Parker, who seems unstoppable in every challenge he faces, had to acknowledge a limit, not of strength or skill, but of humanity. Even someone as driven as he is can't have it all, not without paying the price somewhere else. As that price was love in the end. The ground gave him gold, but it took some painful reminder that even the toughest machines can wear down, even the most focused minds can miss what matters most when they're chasing something that never stops moving. $112.05 $12.05 is worth $197,000. Almost as much as Big Red, it was a lesson, a hard one. But Parker took it in just like everything else life has thrown at him, and kept going stronger maybe, but never the same as jaw-dropping as the Dominion strike was. Parker Schnabel made it clear it was never meant to be the finish line for many miners. Pulling over 11 million worth of gold in a single season would be a career-defining moment, but for Parker, it was simply proof of concept. A launchpad. Dominion wasn't his final destination. It was a statement. Parker is no longer just a Yukon miner working familiar ground. He's operating on an entirely new level, and the pace of his expansion shows no sign of slowing down. His company, Little Flake Mining, recently secured one of its most significant deals yet, a massive 3.4-mile stretch of gold claims at Australia Creek deep in the Yukon. The partnership, forged with metallic minerals, marks a major strategic move. Over the winter, Parker's crew drilled 400 test holes to evaluate the site's potential and lay the groundwork for a high-impact mining operation in the spring. And make no mistake, this isn't just more dirt to dig through. Australia Creek is believed to contain millions of ounces of untapped gold, potentially dwarfing even the riches of Dominion. The buzz around this site isn't just excitement, it's expectation. Where others dream of being rich, Parker dreams of being better, not just better than the competition, but better than he was the year before. And that's the real difference. That's the secret. He's not mining for status, he's mining for mastery. To the outside world, Parker Schnabels' mining site might just look like controlled chaos, a sprawling mess of dust, diesel, and colossal machines ripping through the earth. But to Parker, it's something entirely different. It's his playground. He's even referred to it as his sandbox, but not the kind you find in a backyard. This one is massive, unpredictable, and coated in grime. The toys in Parker's sandbox aren't plastic shovels, they're multi-million-dollar pieces of heavy-duty equipment designed to chew through dirt and spit out gold. Haul trucks, wash plants, excavators, they're all part of the game, and every single one plays a role for Parker. Every move is calculated, every bolt tightened, every gallon of fuel burned, every decision on where to dig. It's all part of a bigger strategy. The mission is singular and crystal clear: pull as much pure gold from the ground as possible. Because in Parker's world, the sandbox isn't just where he works, it's where he wins. The beginning of the season was nothing short of a nightmare. For the first 5 weeks, Parker and his crew faced one setback after another. The gold yields coming out of the ground were embarrassingly low, nowhere near what they needed to justify the immense costs of running such a large-scale operation. The numbers weren't just disappointing, they were dangerous. At that rate, the entire season was headed straight for disaster. To make matters worse, fuel expenses skyrocketed, draining resources faster than the team could recover them. Equipment needed constant maintenance, and the crew, they were exhausted. Mining, normally you spend a lot of money with drilling and blasting rock, and this rock is it's soft enough that you can dig it freely with excavators, but it's hard enough that the walls fold up and you can open pit it. So it's kind of like a perfect scenario. In that standpoint, morale plummeted as days turned into weeks with little to show for their effort. The spark that usually drove Parker's team forward was fading, replaced by frustration and fatigue. The dream of a record-breaking season felt like it was slipping away inch by inch, bucket by bucket. But Parker didn't retreat, he didn't scale back. Instead, he made a move so bold that it stunned even his closest team members. He doubled down with everything already on the line. Parker poured $15 million into Dominion, an untouched and unproven stretch of land that had only one thing going for it, a whisper of possibility. Some said the decision was reckless, others thought it was desperation disguised as strategy. Investing that much money, especially after such a rocky start, looked like financial suicide. But Parker wasn't acting out of panic. He was betting on vision. Dominion was believed to hide a staggering $160 million in untapped gold, and Parker believed in it enough to go all in. As it turns out, he wasn't just right, he was historic. That single decision didn't just turn the season around, it changed the game entirely. Sure, Parker Schnabel is on television every week. His face is recognized around the world, and millions tune in to watch him dig, strategize, and push his limits. Parker isn't playing a character. This isn't a scripted drama. There are no rehearsals, no retakes, no makeup chairs between cuts. What you see is real. The dirt is real. The pressure is real. The risks there is high as they come. Does he know what this mill costs? But the whole plan, $15 million. Does he know what their recovery rate was before when they were using mercury? And what it is now with this system? This isn't just entertainment for Parker. It's his life from the very first season of Gold Rush. Back in 2010, Parker stood out from the rest, not because he was loud or flashy, but because of the sheer intensity of his drive. While others focused on making good TV, Parker focused on moving dirt, pulling ounces, and chasing goals that most miners twice his age would hesitate to pursue. He didn't care about fame, he cared about results. Parker doesn't just survive under pressure, he lives for it. Most miners spend years, sometimes decades, learning the ropes. They make mistakes, take their losses, and slowly sharpen their instincts through trial and error. Success in gold mining is usually a long, hard climb. But Parker Schnabel, he didn't wait for experience to catch up. From the very beginning, Parker was operating on a different level. While most teenagers were still trying to figure out their future, he was already leading crews, managing equipment, and making high-stakes business decisions. At just 19 years old, he made a move that would define his career. He walked away from the Big Nugget mine, a modest family-run operation started by his grandfather, and stepped into the harsh, unforgiving terrain of the Yukon. It wasn't just a change in scenery. It was a declaration he wasn't going to ride anyone else's legacy. He was going to build his own, surrounded by veteran miners, twice his age, men with more years in the industry than he had on Earth. Parker didn't just keep up, he outperformed. One of the big things that he has going for him here is hard rock mining. Normally you spend a lot of money with drilling and blasting rock. If Dominion proved what Parker could do, Australia Creek may very well show how far he can go. But Parker didn't stop with Canada. Dominion and Australia Creek are just the beginning of a much larger vision. Parker is thinking globally. He's taken his gold hunting empire far beyond the frozen rivers and rocky claims of the Yukon. He's expanded into new continents and stepped into territories that few miners would even dare to consider. His operations now reach into South America, New Guinea, and Guyana, regions known not only for their gold-rich potential, but also for their wild, untamed conditions. Mining in these areas is nothing like mining in the north. It's not just colder or hotter, it's a completely different battlefield. Dense jungles, mountainous terrain, and extreme logistical hurdles define these operations. There are no smooth roads, no predictable weather windows, no room for weak planning. And yet Parker jumped in head first. Why? Because doing more of the same was never his style. When his Yukon lease began to near its expiration, he didn't wait for options to come to him. He made new ones. He didn't cling to what was safe and familiar. He pivoted, recalibrated, and started plotting a course into some of the world's toughest mining regions. His mission wasn't just to find more gold, it was to redraw the map of modern mining, to go where others wouldn't, to dig where others gave up, and to prove once again that the limits most people live by don't apply to Parker Schnabel. Because for him, expansion isn't just business, it's instinct. In 2022, Parker was awarded the Robert E. Leckie Award for Sustainable Mining Practices in the Klondike. This wasn't just a pat on the back. It was industry validation, a hard-earned acknowledgement that Parker wasn't just mining aggressively, he was doing it responsibly at a time when many mining operations are criticized for reckless environmental impact. Parker stood out for striking a balance between ambition and accountability. Music. As far as the season goes, the final total was 77,381. Applause. That is unreal. Sets us up so well for the next few years. He proved that you can dig deep, haul gold by the truckload, and still respect the land you're working on. His methods showed that sustainability and profitability don't have to be enemies, and that doing the job the right way isn't about looking good, it's about being smart. because for Parker, responsible mining isn't some marketing gimmick. It's just good business. Strip away the heavy machinery, the gold scales, and the dirt-streaked work gloves. And what's left is sharp, methodical strategy. What really separates Parker from so many others in the industry, he's not just out there digging holes and hoping for the best. Every step of his operation is mapped out with precision. He understands the implications of every move, every contract signed, and every cent spent, whether it's negotiating multi-million-dollar land deals, forming international partnerships, or planning out massive drilling operations. Across multiple continents, Parker operates with the foresight of a seasoned CEO. His success isn't some wild streak of good luck. It's the product of relentless analysis, bold but calculated risk-taking, and an unshakable commitment to staying 3 steps ahead of everyone else. He's not just reacting to the industry, he's shaping it. Parker has built a business that's strong enough to weather gold slumps, equipment failures, and logistical nightmares. He's created a structure that can scale fast and adapt even faster. And while others are trying to stay afloat, Parker is scouting new territory, sealing smarter deals, and quietly dominating corners of the market that no one else has even looked at yet. That's not luck, that's leadership, plain and simple. We've raised the dam up and tried to kind of reinforce things I've done as best I can. These are definitely not headaches that we need, but hopefully that's it. While Parker Schnabel may be the face of the operation, the truth is no gold empire is built alone. Behind every massive haul, behind every successful season, is a crew that gives everything they've got. These are the people who live in the mud, battle the elements, and operate the machines that keep the dream alive. They grind for every flake, they bleed for every ounce. Parker's crew is more than just a team, they're a force. Season after season, they show up and push themselves to the edge of exhaustion, physically worn down, mentally drained, covered in grease, mud, and pressure. And yet they keep moving forward. Why? Because they believe in something bigger than a paycheck. They believe in Parker. They've seen him in action. They've watched him make the tough calls, stand in the trenches, and shoulder the weight of every risk. He doesn't sit back and give orders from a distance. He's right there beside them, hands dirty, sleeves rolled up, grinding just as hard. That kind of leadership builds trust, and trust builds loyalty. So when Parker says, "We're going all in," they follow, not because they have to, but because he's earned it. Every long shift, every missed holiday, every aching muscle, it's all part of the mission. When the dust finally settled on the season, the numbers didn't just look good, they made headlines. 7,381.1 ounces of gold worth over $11 million, pulled straight from the unforgiving earth. That's not just a win, that's dominance. But these numbers do more than just sit pretty on a scoreboard. They sent a message to every miner watching, to every competitor chasing, to anyone who thought Parker Schnabel had peaked. Think again. This isn't a hobby, it's not a TV gimmick, it's not a gold rush fairy tale. This is a machine, a movement, a mining dynasty in the making. Parker's not just playing the game, he's running it. And for anyone else out there hoping to catch up, you'd better start digging faster. With each season, the stakes rise. And yet Parker keeps answering the call, not just to dig gold, but to dig deeper into who he is, what drives him, and how far he's willing to go. South America could be his next kingdom. Australia Creek might be his biggest bet yet. But one thing's certain, when Parker sets his sights on a claim, he doesn't just chase gold.